Welcome to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. First of all, happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. This is a super energetic crowd. This feels more like a Friday crowd than a Monday crowd.
I know they got that Friday
It really
energy, but
does.
on a Monday. That's got the right.
I didn't know better. That's what it's like. Donald Trump. You know that guy? That Donald Trump guy? Yeah, he's getting famous. They're chanting his name. They're going, Donald! Donald Trump continues to follow through on his promise to drain the swamp because it was announced on Friday that the White House has fired its chief usher. It took a while for her to leave the building because there was no one available to show her the door. Poor planning. Now, despite the title, the chief usher has a range of responsibilities, including providing guidance on the furnishings, art, and decor, which I assume in Trump's case means occasionally saying, hey, what if we tried not gold? The firing of the first female chief usher, an African-American named Angela Reid, is controversial because it's not a political position. Reid is just the 9th chief usher since 1885. Yeah, it's a lot. Back then, the usher was in charge of state dinners and hedge trimming Chester A. Arthur. Ushers usually stay on after the president leaves, which might be the problem because Reid was appointed by the previous administration. And historian Douglas Brinkley has speculated the Trump administration seems worried about Obama's spies. Well, even I think that's ridiculous. I have seen pictures of this woman, and she doesn't look like an Obama spy. Can we put her up? She's lovely. Look, there has to be another reason. There has to be another reason. When asked about the unusual firing, Sean Spicer sub Sarah Sanders said something.
But we left on very good terms and wish her the very best and certainly hope for great things for her in the future. I believe that the deputy usher will be serving as the acting usher for right now.
Translation, we gave the job to Jared Kushner. Now, while Republicans are dismantling Obamacare, Democrats are fighting back the only way they know how, through the power of visual arts. Because Democratic candidate for Virginia governor and man who 20 years later just realized who Kaiser Soze was, Tom Perriello, released the following ad right after the House voted on health care.
Republican leaders are trying to do this to affordable health care. I'm Tom Perriello, and in Congress I voted for Obamacare. Together, we can stop Donald Trump, raise wages, and build an economy that works for everyone. And we'll make sure this never happens in Virginia.
Wow, that's a great job. One take. I mean, you got to do that in one take.
You got one truck.
Right? I mean, as an actor, I'm watching that going, you got to do that in one take.
Yeah.
Or have a lot of ambulances standing by.
Right.
Honestly, it seems like it seems like a waste of a perfectly good ambulance until you realize without health care, we won't need them anymore. But this could backfire for Perriello because the real star of the ad is clearly the Model 10 Crusher. Yeah. Oh, it's an up-and-comer. It's huge, it's loud, it destroys everything in its way. It could be our next president. Now, as I'm sure, huge Model 10... I'm telling you...
Yeah, it's just coming up.
A lot of Model 10 Crusher fans here tonight. We're still learning details about the budget Congress passed this week. The press had a lot of questions about it. So the White House sent out Budget Director and baby born in a suit, Mick Mulvaney. Mulvaney held a press conference call to discuss the budget with reporters, which went off the rails when, during an answer about one of the president's tweets, Mulvaney suddenly had an unexpected soundtrack.
I think the president's tweet was that we might need a shutdown at some point to drive home that this place, that Washington needs to be fixed. By the way, if, for those of you who have put us back on hold, if you could mute your phones, that would be really great. I enjoy the classical music, I do. All right, hold on a second. Is there a way to... All right, let's try this. Who would like to ask a question? This is going to be a disaster.
Yes. This is going to be a disaster. Now, I have to warn you, the quality of this audio isn't great, so in some sections, we had to make educated guesses as to what was going on.
Doug Obey with Inside EPA. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned that the Democrats didn't get renewable energy subsidies. Which subsidies are we talking about here?
They had asked for new subsidies, I think, on renewables, and we...
Hello? Hello?
Okay.
You're breaking up. Hello?
Mulvaney. Mulvaney either has a bad connection or has begun speaking in tongues. But reporters are used to getting no clear answers from the White House, so they pushed on.
Got another question here from the AP. Is anyone still there?
Yeah, the audio's breaking up.
Real stellar control of the White House.
This is unbelievable. Still, anyone who works in an office can tell you it is one of the most successful conference calls of all time. Hello? Hello? Things got more and more chaotic, culminating in the big finish. And you know what that means? Time for a saxophone solo. Hit it!
Hello?
It was all summed up in today's New York Times. Mulvaney bleep bloop budget smooth jazz. It's fake news. It's fake news. This is literally fake news. We made it up. In legal news, the Eagles, you know the band, the Eagles? The Eagles, including their leader Don Headley, are suing a Mexican hotel called Hotel California in federal court, saying that the hotel's been using the name to suggest a connection with the band for financial gain. For you youngsters out there, Hotel California was one of the Eagles' best-selling albums. Look for it in the tape deck of your stepdad's Camaro. On a dark desert highway. And this lawsuit against the Hotel California is bad news for other businesses trying to profit off the Eagles, like the landscaping service Rake It to the Limit, the wedding formal shop Dresperado, and perhaps the most flagrant ripoff of all, the Little League Baseball Supply Store, the Eagles' Greatest Hits Volume 2. I don't know about you folks, but ever since the House passed the new health care bill last week, I've been trying to decide, should I move to Canada or just stay... or just get as drunk as they are right now? Well, it turns out that you might do both, because the Canadian Food Inspection Agency recently announced that gin is being recalled for having too much alcohol. Too much alcohol? Well, you wouldn't want that. I'm buying it for the hydration. The recall was announced because bottles of Bombay Sapphire gin were found to contain 77% alcohol by volume, rather than the typical 40%. Calm down. Here's how you can tell the difference. Normal gin tastes like juniper with hints of lemon and coriander. 77% alcohol gin tastes like regret with hints of fighting a parking meter. Now, the company realized the mistake after they received an isolated consumer complaint. All right, who complained? Sorry, I'm calling about this gin. It's got too much of the thing I bought it for, eh? You want it back? I'm sorry, I'll spit it back in if you want. Well, according to a Bombay spokesperson, the complaint was reported by a regular connoisseur of Bombay Sapphire gin who realized that the taste profile was off. By the way, I believe regular connoisseur of Bombay Sapphire gin is Canadian for ant going through a rough patch. Now, luckily, ever since Henry left, luckily, this isn't too much of a problem for the gin because there were no reports of anyone becoming sick. However, there were several reports of parties becoming sick. We got a great show for you tonight. is Midnight Confessions.